Let's do it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Joe Hughes, ContractorDynamics.com. I've got a very special guest today, my partner in crime, business partner, Mr. Tim Conley. What's up, Tim?
What's up, Joe? Thanks for having me on. Like this is like breaking new ground here.
Tim was actually my business coach a few years ago. I was in his group coaching program. And after a couple of years working together, he's like, you know what, this industry that you're in is pretty awesome, and you're a pretty cool guy, and I want to be a part of this whole thing you got going on. So Tim became an investor and a partner in Contractor Dynamics, and then recently he became our chief marketing officer, head of marketing. Depending on the audience, we kind of vary the titles as we all do. So we are building and scaling this thing together, which has been a ton of fun, and I'm really excited to have him. So one of the things that we talk about a lot in our marketing and in my content, my videos, I'm sure people have seen it and heard it from me a bunch of times, is this whole concept of brand and like how to build a brand, how to build a powerful brand, a recognizable brand, how to brand yourself or your company. Can you shed some light on what we mean by that? And what people should take away from that?
Yeah, when we talk about branding is the message your market believes. So it's the part of you that your market starts to understand the emotional connection that they have with you. It is not your logo. It's not your business name. It's not even you doing any personal branding. If you follow some of the things that we're going to talk about, where you're on camera, you're doing your own ads, those sort of things, that's a piece of it. It's the you trying to put a message out there. But the part that's truly branding is, how do people end up thinking about you? What do they end up believing about you? That's actually your brand.
That's a great point, because we can do these things in our businesses, but it's how our market sees us, what they think about us, what they perceive about us before they come into interaction with us.
Right.
And we'll get to how that translates into customers and actually making money and growing your business in a little bit. But first of all, what do you do to build your brand? Like, what's the best way to build your brand these days?
A best way to build your brand these days is something that's actually pretty scary, is to be everywhere. And that is really tricky, because it takes a lot of resources, it takes a lot of dedication and time. But that's the goal, is to end up being everywhere your potential customer is. So you're going to start someplace and move there. We start our clients, our students of our training programs, we start them with Facebook. It's where their local market is. And it's a relatively easy place to get started and to start building out a communications platform so that people can actually hear your message, to start believing something about you.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Some of these other channels to build your brand, like say TV or radio or even SEO, those can be maybe daunting, maybe longer term. They take a little while. They take some more money. One of the reasons that we like to get started on Facebook and Instagram is because you can get some good traction like relatively quickly by jumping into it, as we've seen with several clients. So if someone's starting today with getting out there, say on Facebook, like what exactly should they do? So I think everyone knows, watching this or listening to this, okay, I know I need to be on social media, but like, what does that mean? What do I do?
Yeah, first, before you get into the doing, you need to know who you're talking to. before you start just throwing stuff out there, which is what a lot of people do. And honestly, maybe that is necessary, where you have to just start throwing things out there, not because your market wants you to throw stuff out there, but because you've got to get comfortable putting stuff out there. That's a different topic, but you need to know who you're going to talk to. A lot of people just start putting stuff out there and say, free inspection. We hear this a lot. We tease our own clients and students. We tease them about the free inspection that they always offer, but they haven't ever asked the question, do people want one? Right? They've never asked. They've never spoken to their prospective customers to find out, what do you really want from a roofing company? And answering that question really helps you identify all the people in your market who want that same thing. So one of the first things you really should do is talk to all your past customers and ask, well, why'd you choose us? What was the thing that made you choose us over everything else? What was it? And hopefully it's not price. Hopefully that's the answer is not price. Hopefully it's something about something resonated with them. Maybe it was your professional appearance. Maybe it was some other part of your process that made them feel comfortable, and that solved their problem, the problem that they had at that time. So we have a variety of people who are working in like insurance claims. So storm damage, they come in and those people have a immediate need. But then there's the other side of the people who are in what's called retail. They're making a choice of repairing their roof or changing out their roof, sometimes just for cosmetics. So you've got to understand who you're talking to. So if you're talking to somebody with storm damage, then and you don't want to give them a message about getting rid of the stains on your roof, because it won't resonate. So that's the first place to start, is who am I speaking to with this particular message? And then you put that message into the right form of content. That could be a simple post, text. It could be a picture. It could be a string of pictures called a carousel post, or it could be a video. And we're finding that on Facebook, video does a fantastic job of communicating your message and also making people feel connected to you and your brand.
Absolutely. And as you said, you've got to not just get on video, because we are encouraged to see roofing companies getting out there and doing videos and whatnot, whether it's done the right way or an effective way. That's another story. So getting out there on video is great, but it's all about just take a few minutes to think about what you're going to say. And I know it can be difficult because you've been in the industry for so long as an owner, as a sales associate, a team member, but put yourself in the shoes of your ideal prospective client, whether it's a homeowner, a property management company, a commercial building owner, facilities manager, and think about what issues they might be having, what problems they might be having, what solutions they're seeking, what they really want. And then you reverse engineer it from there. And you put that content in front of them. So it's about your market. Your marketing content is about your market, not about you. That one little tweak can have a huge impact.
Yeah, a massive impact. I would say that it creates the actual offer that you're going to put into, say, an ad or even just a piece of content. So you've done a great piece of content that gets people's attention, and then at the end you make an offer. That offer, if it's a free inspection better be the thing that they actually want. Like that thing should be what they desire. Because if it's not, then it's not an irresistible offer. Your offer has to be something that they look at it and say, yes, I want that. That right there will help me solve my problem. Does the things that you are saying right now help people solve their problem, or at least take the very next step to solving their problem? And do they want it? If you can answer those questions, then your content, the brand building that you put out will work.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit.
Okay.
Assuming that free inspection, free estimate, contact us today, get a quote, assuming that those things are not going to be what people want, and by getting feedback from the industry, those are things that clients and other roofers will put out there, and they don't get any traction from them. They're like, all right, well, I'm not getting any, no one's responding, my Facebook ads aren't working. And then you look at them, they're like, oh, you're saying what everyone else is saying. So if that's not what people are after, then like what would be an irresistible offer?
It's dependent on who you're speaking to. If I have a hole in my roof, I don't want a free inspection. I know there's a hole in my roof, right? What I want is the hole gone. If you're speaking to somebody who has had storm damage, then you need to give them an offer about fixing that storm damage. That would be the things that I would care about. Speed. Like, I don't want to wait 2 or 3 weeks and have a tarp up there and maybe another storm blows through and then it just pours down rain again inside my house, right? I don't want to go through that. So could you solve that for me? What about financing? A lot of people in the market right now are cash strapped. Can you help me with the financing? Or do I have to pull out my credit card? Or do I have to go to my bank and get a HELOC or something to be able to do business with you? Do I have to jump through a whole bunch of other hoops elsewhere just to do business with you? Oh, no, I can. Your offer is we will provide you with 0% financing for 12 months. Oh, okay, great. Come on out. It depends on who you're speaking to as to what that offer needs to be. One of our clients, a student in our program, has a great ad that's focused on the monthly payment. This is something that's been done by car companies since I think the 1950s, where they've sold based upon the monthly payment, not the price of the thing. And is showing in an ad like, this is a great, look at this house, it's beautiful, it's fantastic, and our client is only paying X dollars per month to have this. It's like, oh wow, that's it? I could redo my roof for just that? But then they have to contact you to find out, well, how much is it going to cost? Or maybe you get really clever and give them a monthly payment calculator. That's the offer. Go from my ad to a monthly payment calculator. Here's the size of my roof. Here's these different estimates. And then they get an estimated monthly payment. And then they can go, oh, this sounds great. Let's get started.
That is a perfect example of solving a problem. Someone wants or needs a new roof and they don't want to plunk down a whole bunch of cash, and that solves a big problem.
Yes.
It's ironic that you mentioned that client John this morning. He actually elevated from our pro group to our accelerator program because he just hired an in-house marketing manager,
nice.
Rachel, who's going to be taking over their marketing, and we're going to help her, build everything out. And there are big things ahead. They've already got a great, nice fire burning. We're going to pour fuel on that fire. So excited for them. So it's all about, like, if I'm going to go buy a car or lease a car, then I'm thinking in my head, okay, I want my monthly payment to be X, 300 or 400 or whatever I want it to be. And then I'm going to go, look for options that kind of satisfy that budget right there. So
right.
That's an excellent point, especially right now with the financing. That's going to be a very attractive offer. And what you touched on, Tim, is ultimately making it easy for people to do business with you, right? So regardless of the exact problem that you're solving, the exact offer that you have, a lot of what it boils down to is like making it easy for someone to become a client, to do business with you, right?
Yes, definitely. That's one of the best ways to build a brand, is to acquire a customer. And what I mean is, lots of people in the roofing industry survive on referrals. If you get a customer and they're really happy, they're going to refer you. They're going to refer you to other people. They're going to write reviews unprompted if you do an amazing job. You might need to help them, guide them on how to give you reviews, which will lend to you getting additional business. So one of the best ways of building a brand is to build a customer base. And then don't forget about them. This is something that we see with transactional businesses all the time. It's like, oh, I did a roof for that person, and then they're not going to need another roof for 10 or 15 years. So I'll talk to them in 10 or 15 years. No, you need to talk to them forever. You need to continue to communicate with them. Things that they're interested in, things that matter, like the community, the neighborhood in which they live in, the things that they actually care about, communicate with them so that they remember you when in 3 years they've sold that house and moved into a different house, and maybe they've decided to get into the fixer-upper game. And now they go back to you to replace the roof on this fixer-upper they just bought that they're going to rent out. These people, you don't do one transaction and then stop communicating. Your brand will continue to be built as long as you continue to communicate with your customers, because they will then have the ability to refer you again. If you stop talking to them, then they will stop referring.
Absolutely. And we should definitely do another episode all about database marketing and follow up and keeping in touch with your customers. That's such a great topic. Top of mind is tip of tongue. So if you're top of mind with people, they're going to be able to refer you to their friends, their family, their neighbors. And additionally, I know a lot of people listening to this don't just do roofing, right? You might do siding, windows, doors, landscaping, remodeling. So there's a good chance that most of those customers that for whom you've done a roof don't know that you offer those additional services. So staying in front of them and letting them know that they can hire you for other additional things, that's going to help as well.
Definitely.
I want to touch on, Tim, and bring it back to this whole concept of branding. And a lot of times there's resistance. It's like, okay, well, I get the concept of branding. I get like building a brand, but but I need leads. Like I need to make money. Like how does building a brand make my company money?
Okay. So, most roofers, nearly all of them, 99.9% of them, are sales organizations. Selling is the thing that brings money in today. So that leads people to do things like door knocking, cold calling, essentially doing a whole bunch of stuff to annoy the market in order to find the one or two people who are ready to buy today. So out of, say, 200 to 300 phone calls, you might pull one job out of that. So that process will pay the bills today because you can just manually power through it. Like that gets you money to get going. But once you're going, you need to make life easier on yourself. Instead of annoying your market by just being a pest, you can create marketing, and marketing then creates your brand that attract people to you. So when you go to a store, say you're in need of some new sneakers, or more likely you just want a new pair, and you're walking along in the mall and you see this cool pair of Nikes. Why do you pick Nike over anything else? Oh, because I resonate with that particular brand. Or maybe you're old school like me and like Run DMC, so you pick up a pair of Adidas, right? So you might like a particular thing because of that brand, and you'll choose it because of that brand. The price becomes maybe not even secondary. High ticket works the exact same way. Your car, why do you have the vehicle you have? we've got an F-350. Why don't we have a Dodge 3500? Because we like Ford, right? That's the decision, right? We like Ford. Then it goes to rationalizing why we like Ford over Dodge. The Fords, the F-Series have really great reliability. Oh, the particular engine that this one's running. Then price comes into it. Dodge is cheaper than Ford. If we were being a smart consumer and just going by price, we would choose the Dodge. But no, we chose the Ford, more expensive, but we had all these other rationalization points that made us say, yes, this is a smart decision. So it works the same way in roofing. Like, why pick a particular roofer over all the other roofers? When I first came into this space, I told Joe, it's like, I don't know how storm chasers can even exist. A storm hits, they roll into town with their management and go acquire laborers. Sometimes not even skilled laborers to do the work. They come in and take a bunch of business that should belong to the locals. And how are they able to do that? Because the locals don't have a strong enough brand that overcomes the pitch of, should I be mean and say carpetbaggers? Like people who are coming into a market who don't belong and will leave. A local roofer should never be in that position, should own their market. Everything comes down to that point where people will look at you and say, yes, you are my brand. And then now I'm going to have all these different factors that's going to justify why your company is my brand. Hopefully that made sense. I get on a roll.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have grand questions, now you know who to reach out to. Reach out to Tim, and he'll just wax on for hours. And likewise, and one of the ways that I like to think about it, in addition to what you said, is risk. Like, brand lowers your risk. And
yes.
To use the sneaker example, sorry, let me clarify that. Brand lowers the risk that you're going to make a bad decision. So to use your sneaker example, I actually ordered a pair of sneakers last night, running sneakers, and I could definitely have gotten a more inexpensive pair online on Amazon or something like that, right? But I went with this brand called Hoka, which is for running and hiking and whatnot. A little bit more expensive, but I know that they're going to be great. I know that I have a high level of certainty that they're not going to fall apart, and I'm going to have to do what every male dreads doing, which is package something up and return it. So it's just like an easy way for me to make a smart decision because they have a strong brand reputation. So glad you brought up the sneakers there.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things about price, price can be an indicator of quality. So there's always a segment of your market that will always choose the most expensive option. They like, okay, you showed me these other packages for my roof. Is that it? Like, where's the premium platinum tier? Like, I want that one. Do you have that one? Because that's all I want. I only ever want the best, because they use price as the ability to say that this is of higher quality, makes them feel better about themselves, that they made a better decision because they paid more money. Luxury markets always want the higher price. They want to pay the higher price because it signifies, one, I have status, I can do it, and two, it signifies that I'm buying quality. I don't have to do all the research. I don't have to know everything about underlayment, sheathing, drip edges, tabs. I don't need to know any of that. All I need to know is it the most expensive? If it's the most expensive product in the category, then I know I'm buying quality. There is always a segment of your market who think like that. And your brand can be a luxury brand. It can be a brand that lets that part of the market know you do have a platinum tier just for them.
Great point. Yeah, I think I'm like that with a few things, not with everything, but I know people that are certainly like that with pretty much everything they buy. That makes a lot of sense. So
Yep.
Let's start to wrap this up and bring home some tangible kind of next action steps for everyone who's watching or listening to this. So we want to get out there and build our brand by distributing ideally video content on your platforms of choice, which should be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. But don't worry about being everywhere if you're small and just starting out, or if you're just getting started with this whole marketing and branding thing. So that would be number one.
Yep.
Number two would be think about your market and what they want and what problems they have and what solutions that would serve them that they're looking for. Don't talk about yourself and all the technical things about, your roof or your company. Your marketing content should be about your market, not about you. What else would you say, Tim? Those are two things that really jumped out at me.
Learn to prioritize marketing over sales. I know it's going to sound scary, but sales gets you started. Marketing keeps you going.
I got nothing to add to that. That's perfect. It's a great mindset to have right there. So I think that's a wrap. Anything else you want to add on the branding topic?
Oh, just anytime you're putting your logo out there, make it smaller.
Yeah, we used to design and build websites. We built hundreds of them. And the biggest point of feedback after we gave that initial concept was, yeah, it looks good. Do you think I can make my logo a little bit bigger?
Always.
Oh, man.
Always. Everybody wants the logo to be bigger because they think that's branding. No one, I bet if you survey all your customers, very few of them could ever name your company without looking at the invoice. Or the sign that you put out in their front yard, or the sign that's on your truck. Most of them are not going to be able to name your brand. They're going to name you. They're going to know who you are, because that's who they've been doing business with. So a lot of people think make my logo bigger is the equivalent of branding. It's not. It's actually interfering with the message that your market actually wants to hear, which is that you can serve my needs.
Absolutely. I have to go there. I have to say it. Most of y'all listening or watching this have the same darn logo. It's your company name with the little roof line on top of it. And so when Tim's talking about it interferes with your brand, it can just make you look like every other roofer in your market because most people have pretty much the same logo, a variation of it. So yeah, great tip there,
Yep.
Tim. Appreciate that. Appreciate all your insights. I hope this was valuable for everyone. It's only valuable if you actually go out and implement, right? Don't just absorb information, but actually apply that. That's what's going to really transform your business. Awesome to have you on, Tim. Look forward to having you on again on the Nailed It Show.
Thanks for having me on, Joe.
All right, Tim, that wraps it up for our Nailed It Show. Go out there and implement, get yourself on video and make it happen.